Now the question is, can you hear me here? Okay, awesome. Let's try again. Okay guys, so we're lying down. We've got our band in our hands and the band is about shoulder width distance apart. So we've wrapped the band around our hands about shoulder width distance apart. Our feet are on the floor, our knees are bent up towards the sky, and our spine is relatively neutral. So if you need to do a little arch and tuck into the lower back to find your neutral, then please do. We're going to take an inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to float our arms up overhead. So the arms are going to go in line with our ears. And as the arms reach overhead, give a little pull into the band. Bring the band back to center and reach the arms up towards the sky. So I'm taking my band in line with my ears, my arms in line with my ears. I'm pulling into the resistance of the band, bringing the hands back to shoulder width distance, and then floating them up towards the sky. Nice. Ideally, guys, when we do that pull, we're doing it on an exhale to encourage the ribs to draw down into the floor. So as you move, of course, we're working into the arms just a little bit, but I'm actually more interested in you maintaining your neutral spine as you do this movement than anything else. Let's go for 2 more. Nice big long exhale, pulling into the resistance of your band, and an inhale to float up. Good. Last time. Exhale, reach. And inhale, float up. Really, really nice. Keep your hands reaching up towards the sky. Keep your neutral spine. And we're going to float one leg into tabletop, other leg into tabletop, and I literally just want you to hang out here and breathe, guys. Yes, nice. So take a few moments. My eyes are closed right now unless I'm looking at you. And I close my eyes in these moments so that I can really feel my neutral spine. Breathing 360 degrees into the tummy, into the floor, into the sides of our lungs, just holding tabletop, holding neutral. Drawing the ribcage down. On your next exhale, if it's available to you, you're going to float the arms up overhead just like we've been doing. Pull into the resistance of the band yet again. And then bring the arms up to the sky on the inhale. So it's an exhale to float the arms back. Pull into the resistance of the band. Bring the arms back through center on an inhale. Nice, that's it. Try and get your shins a little bit more parallel to the floor if you feel you can. So in tabletop, we tend to start letting the toes float towards the ceiling. See if you can really stay in that tabletop shape with the shins as well. If you feel you can add on, guys, as you reach the arms overhead, see if you can stretch one leg forward. Pull into the resistance of the band, and then bring it all back to center. Yes, nice. Exhale to reach one leg forward. Pull into the resistance of the band. Inhale, float it up. So I don't know about you, it's looking good, really, it's looking amazing out there, but I don't know about you, when I let those arms reach overhead and pull, it feels like my lower back really wants to lift away from the floor. So I'm working a little bit harder to maintain my neutral in that moment. Really think about drawing the ribs together and down, exhaling, pulling and reaching the leg forward. Go for 4. And 3. Looks really nice, guys. and 2. We're just really firing up the core. Last time. Exhale, reach. Well done. Pop the feet to the ground. So let go of your band for a second and let your knees windscreen wide from side to side. So just take that moment. Well done. Okay, cool. So we're gonna still be holding onto the band with the hands. Feet are gonna just stay on the ground initially. We're gonna work a little bit more into the upper abdominals with some flexion. So we're gonna take an inhale at the bottom to prepare. I'm gonna exhale intentionally, nod my chin towards my chest and come up into a little crunchlet. So into my flexion. I'm gonna bring my left leg into tabletop and I'm gonna pull the band down over my left chin, pause for a moment, and then take everything all the way down. So I'm first coming into flexion and then lifting my leg. As I come up into my little crunch, I'm nodding my chin to my chest first, exactly. Then one leg into tabletop, put the band over that shin, pull down, yes, and then slowly bring everything back to the floor. As you come into that pulling moment, guys, when you're pulling the band, just watch your wrist angles. Seems like a weird thing to be conscious of, but try and keep your wrists long, okay? So as I pull, I'm not letting my wrists kind of turn into a 90-degree angle, keeping my wrists really long, okay? Nice. Yes, exactly. Flexion first. Pause for a beat. Tabletop in one leg. Pull down. Pinkies kind of lead the way towards the floor. And then slowly bring everything back. We're going to go for about 6 to 8 more here. And I really just want you to take the most attention to the moment you lift your head off of the ground. So it's super intentional. Tuck of the chin towards the throat, and then come up into your crunch. Nice. Yes, very nice. Last 3. Pull. Good. 2. Pull. Yes, guys. Last one, last one. If you feel like you need to do one extra one to be even on both sides, then please do. Good, and then pop the foot down, put your head down, take it all windscreen wide again. Nice job. All right, we're going to repeat that exercise, and I'm super aware of the fact that a lot of the time this can get very necky. If you feel like your neck just needs a break, then you keep your head on the floor, okay? It's totally fine to keep your head on the ground. Let me just show you with flexion. So it starts the same way. We're going to come up into your crunch. One leg comes into tabletop. I'm going to pull down, so that all remains the same. The only thing I'm going to add on here is a super slow hovering of the other foot off of the floor. I'm going to hold it for a moment and then take that foot back to the ground. I'm not going to let the foot drop. So the work is in the super slow lift, the super slow intentional lower, and lower down. Okay, so just addition of a hovering of the opposite foot. When you're ready, guys, let's nod our chin towards our chest, come up into flexion. Good, nice. Bring a leg into tabletop position, pull down into that band, pause, looking at your pubic bone. If you feel you can add on, you're going to hover the opposite foot off of the ground, draw your navel in towards your spine, pull your ribs through the floor, and then slowly take that foot back, and then lower everything else down. Well done. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, bring it up. Tabletop, opposite leg here. So we're changing from leg to leg each time. Pull down into the resistance of the band. Lift one foot, lift the opposite foot off of the floor. Yes. And then slowly float it down. Float it down. Good. Only 2 more on each side. Inhale. Exhale, bring it up. Tabletop with one foot or one leg. Pull down into the resistance of the band. Hover the opposite foot. And guys, you're so welcome to put your head down if you need that. And then slowly float the foot to the floor. Float opposite foot to the floor. Take a break. Inhale. That was a very short break. Exhale, come into flexion. Tabletop. Pull down. Hover. You're keeping your neutral. Slowly lower the hovering foot. Lower the tabletop foot, lower your head. Last two. Inhale. Exhale, bring it forward. Nice. Tabletop. Pull down, pause. Lift and hover. Opposite foot. Good. Keep the wrists long. Lower the hovering foot, lower the tabletop foot, lower the head. Last time. Inhale. And exhale, bring it up. Tabletop. Pull down, keep the wrists nice and long. Lift the hovering foot. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Lower the hovering foot. Lower the tabletop foot. Take a moment. Nice. Really nice. So good. Well done. Alright guys, last little bit of core work here. I always think in the mornings I've got so much more time than I actually do. But anyway. So we're going to see if we can take our legs and reach them up towards the sky. And however you can, I'm going to just thread the band behind my thighs like this. I'm going to take the band literally behind my legs, okay? So a lot of the time in the previous classes we've had the band in front of our legs, but this time the band is actually behind my legs, just above the knee joint. Cool, right. So initially, this is actually quite a nice place to be because the band is going to help your hip flexors. Let's activate through the feet. So I'm going to flex my feet up towards the sky. So the opposite of what a ballerina does, really flexing through the feet. And ideally, I'm in a neutral spine. So my lower back is relatively, at least lifted a tiny little bit away from the floor, not pressing it down into the earth. From here, I'm going to try and straighten out my arms. Okay, so my palms are facing up. My thumbs are east and west. Okay. Keeping your neutral spine. Maybe you can start to pull the band up. So I'm literally pulling the band up and then slowly lowering the band back to it again. You might need to find a little bit more of a sweet spot for the band to rest at the back of the thighs so that it doesn't, kind of hurt you as you pull. Just manage that as best you can. So I'm pulling the band up. Yes, kind of creating the letter V as I pull. Good. And then slowly releasing down. Just managing the tension on your band. Exhaling to pull. Inhaling to slowly release. Exhaling to pull. Inhaling to slowly release. As you pull, notice your shoulder blades moving on the ground behind you. You should notice the shoulder blades go down and the shoulder blades slightly float up. Alright, so we're going to see if we can add on to this little situation here. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull my arms into that letter V. Pause, nod my chin towards my chest and come up into a little bit of a crunch. So hollow shape, yeah? And then I'm going to slowly lower everything back down. So pulling the arms up overhead, coming up into a crunch, trying to lift my shoulder blades off of the mat, and then slowly coming down. Your shoulders should start to burn. Let's go for 3 more if we can. So we pull, come up into a crunch, slowly come down. For these last 2, as you come up and pull, Just notice the weight of your legs in the band. Last time, hopefully the shoulders are talking to you a little bit. Pull, lift, and slowly take it down. Well done. Now, I'm going to cross the band, or cross the ends of my band in my hand. So I'm going to literally cross over the band. I'll turn myself so you can see. So now, over my knee, or just above my knee joints, the band is crossed. Okay, I've still got one end of the band in each hand, but it's now crossed. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Yes, Lizzie, got it. Alicia's got it. Jules got it. Got it. Yeah. Paula, you're reading my mind. Okay, so from here, we're literally going to do exactly what Paula was doing a second ago. Find your neutral, okay? Hold on to your band and bend your elbows. So the elbow bend is just going to keep our neck a little bit more free of tension. Okay, draw the shoulder blades down, and you're going to slowly start to play around with lowering both legs simultaneously, and then lifting both legs up. Okay, so the lowering of both legs happens on an exhale. Lifting of both legs happens on an inhale. Allow your elbows to rest on the floor if your arms start to really burn. Okay. So the idea here, guys, is that you've got this band helping you, assisting you to do this double leg lower. But as you lower the legs, see if you can equalize your movement between the left and the right sides of your body. So feel your abs. Abs working equally on left and right side. Legs are nice and parallel. Good, keep it up. Maybe about 4 more here. Again, if your arms are dying and they're super burny, rest your elbows on the floor. 3. Good, try and keep the legs nice and strong. Okay, so I'm not letting my knees bend. Squeezing my muscles of my legs to the bone. Last time. Good, reach the legs up towards the sky. Hold, beautiful. So with the band crossed here now, we're going to lift our elbows away from the ground and straighten out the arms. Nice, cool. You can probably imagine where we're going to go with this, right? So I'm going to pull into the band. So it's kind of easier now with the band crossed. I'm going to pull into the band, again creating that letter V shape with my arms. I want to draw my rib cage down, and I'm going to come up into a crunch. So my shoulder blades are ideally lifted off of the ground. Then I'm going to slowly lower my legs down, 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 down. Yeah. Keep pulling the band. Lift my legs up and lower everything back down. So crossing the band in front of the knees there. Good. I'm going to pull, come up into flexion, lower the legs down. Good. Lift them up. And nice. That's it. If lifting the head is just killing your vibe this morning, then stick with the leg movement, yeah? If your knees are bent, you can extend both legs out long and then bend them in again rather than keeping them straight. Okay, let's go for about 3. Tap it in. Maybe making the movements a little bit more fluid, so pulling, coming up into flexion, lowering the legs all in one movement, and slowly coming down. And last time, guys, if you can, see if you can hold that shape. Hold the legs long, reach the arms back. And maybe pulse into the arms, pulling back for 5, 4, good, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release, bring the feet to the ground. Great job, everybody. Let the knees windscreen wipe. Nice. Okay, that's that done. All right. So from here, we're going to change it up and we're going to wrap the band around our thighs. So this is where we create a little knot in the TheraBand. I'll maybe angle myself this way. The best way that I like to do it is wrap it around, tie one knot, and then a bow, kind of like shoelaces, and then you're in. Okay. Yes. Nice. Okay, and then we're just going to lie down. So I'd like to take us into a little bit of bridge work before we come into the rest of our exercises. So our feet parallel hip width distance on the floor. Nice. Hands relax alongside you. Palms facing up. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to gently round into the lower back. Pick the pelvis up and lift into your bridge position. Just take a pause at the top of your first bridge. I don't know about you, but for me, I can't really feel the big toe edges of my feet press into the ground. I want you to really root down through that inner arch, big toe sides of your feet. Find a little bit more height in the pelvis if you can. And then slowly take your spine down. Good, very nice. Keep on going. So it's an inhale at the bottom. I always like to take a little arch into my lower back on that inhale, and then exhale round into the lower back. Pick the pelvis up. Keep your thighs nice and parallel. The band is going to kind of tempt you to push your knees out into it. We're not doing that yet. Keep pressing through the inside edges of the feet, and then slowly take your spine down. Nice. Going for 4 more articulations like this. So articulation means one vertebra at a time. We're trying to find segmental movement. One segment, then the next, then the next. Spinal segment is just the space, that disc space between 2 vertebrae. We're trying to create length and openness between that space. That just means you want to take a little bit more time on the journey up and on the way down to encourage really one vertebra at a time. Yeah? Last 2. Softening into the neck and shoulders. Trying to remove any tension from that area. Last 1. Really nice. Yes, nice. So let's here. Beautiful line. Slowly coming down. Good job. Really nice. Okay, guys, so we're going to take it up into a bridge and we're going to hold the position. From here, you're going to find you're going to roll into the pinky toe edges of the feet. That's kind of okay because we're going to pull the band apart. We're going to squeeze the knees away from one another, east and west. And as I pull my knees apart, I want to squeeze my bum even more, okay? And then I'm going to keep the height of my bum, bring my knees back to parallel. Pull the knees apart, east and west, squeeze your bum, bring the knees back to parallel. So ideally, guys, as you keep going with this, you're keeping a constant height in your bum. Because what's going to be really tempting is that as you pull your legs apart, east and west, you're going to maybe want to drop your booty. Don't let it happen. Once you feel like you've got the groove, let's see if we can go for 10 more. Don't worry if you lose a little bit of big toe contact here, that's kind of okay. Just keep the neck and shoulders relatively free of tension. Keep the lower back nice and long. Think about rib cage to pelvis connection at the front of your body. Last 3. Looking good out there. Last 2. Should have the faint burn of gluteus medius starting to rise in your body. Last 1. And then slowly take your spine down. Well done. Hug the knees into the chest. Take a little rock from side to side. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to roll up into seated. And then guys, I actually want to come into standing from here. So we're going to keep the band exactly in this position on our legs. Now you might find as you go about the next exercises so that the band, kind of scrumples up a little bit. Just adjust it whenever you need to, okay? So take your time to adjust the band as needed. I'm going to turn to face you. Okay, so band is above my knee joints. I'm going to take my feet a little bit wider than hip width distance. And we're literally just going to come into some squat movements. So when we come into our squat, we're thinking about this as our initiating action, okay? So the hinge at the hip. We're going to hinge at the hip, send our booty back, then bend into the knees, come down. Feeling all 4 corners of the feet press into the mat, and then slowly bring yourself back up. Nice, exactly. Coming down. The wonderful thing that we have here is that the band is going to help us to cue that little bit of external rotation that we want to happen through the hip joints. So keep on going, down and up, nice, good. So we want the thighs to push into the band as we come down. Good, that's it. Let's go for 8 more, down and up, that's it. Initiating with that little hip hinge first, then we kind of press out into the band. Good. 3. Nice. 2. That's beautiful, guys. Last 1. Hold it down for me if you can. Now the band is going to want to pull our knees in the way, so let's pulse those knees out for 10, 9, 8. Just notice the weight distribution change in your feet. Pinky toes, big toes. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it up. Shift your weight into your right leg if you can. Closing down the rib cage to pelvis connection. Soft bend into that right knee. And you're going to see if you can open and close. Nice. Open, close. Good. Going for 8, 7, 6, 5. Good. Try not to let your torso tip over. Keep the head on top of the pelvis. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Now take your weight back into that left foot. Put the heel of your left foot on the floor. It's a terrible analogy, but I guess you want to imagine you're kind of putting out a cigarette, okay? You're going to externally rotate, so toes out. Internally rotate, toes in. Toes out. Toes in. So I'm rotating my thigh bone out, and then I'm rotating my thigh bone in. Rotating my thigh bone out. Rotating my thigh bone in. Yes. Rotate out. Rotate in and hold. So I'm internally rotating, kind of pigeon-toed. Take your weight back into that right leg. Keep the internal rotation and then take it up. Good. Keep thinking internal rotation. Internal rotation. Yes. Now, so toes are not pointing out, toes are pointing in. 7. Yes. 6. Good. 5. That's it. 4. 3, 2, guys, see if you can hold. Internally rotate, even more, internally rotate. Really get that movement from the top of the thigh. Pulse up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Close the ribs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Take it down. Just a normal lift to the side on the other side. Just noticing a lot of us immediately go external rotation and then lift. Those muscles are just a little bit stronger, usually. But the real stabilizers, they like that little bit of internal rotation. Okay, they're the hip stabilizers. Keep going. That's it. 5. Well, you might notice that the second side is way more burning because now you're supported by the leg that's just worked. Last 2 and 1. Good. Take your weight back into that right leg. Heel on the mat. External rotation of the hip. Internal rotation of the hip. My pelvis is not moving. Pelvis stays fixed. Thigh bone externally rotates. Thigh bone internally rotates. Yes. Go for 4, 3, 2, 1. End in internal rotation. Take your weight back into that left leg. Try and keep that internal rotation as best you can and lift. You can let your toes tap the ground each time, but work for that internal rotation. 8. Good. 7. Keep your head on top of your pelvis, so try not to lean over to the left too much. 6. 5. Good. Really internally rotate. 4. 3. 2. 1. And take a moment. Shake it out. Well done. Really great job. What I'd like to come into from there is going to be 1 squat, down, up. Shift the weight into your leg, internally rotate. So I'm going to shift my weight into my right leg, internally rotate my left, lift, plant my foot back onto the ground, come up, internally rotate, lift. So we're moving quite dynamically from place to place here. So what I want you to be pedantic about are these little compensations that are going to want to happen. Rib flare, leaning back, arching into your lower back as you lift that leg. Yeah, don't let it happen. 10. Now we've got it. 9. Good. Claire, maybe take your stance a little wider for that squat if you can. Yes. 6. That's it. 5. So you're almost thinking about reaching the heel of the foot out to the side for that internal rotation. 2. And 1. Amazing. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Good job. All right. So you guys kind of mastered this idea of internal and external rotation of the hip. So we're going to use that a little bit more now in hip extension. So this hip now is extended. This is a flexed hip. This is an extended hip. So I'm going to use my extension of my hip with internal rotation. So let's bring our feet parallel. We'll get into the position together. I'm gonna do this angle so you can see me. You need to hold on for something to balance with. Please do. I'm gonna step my left foot back, not too far, Once I've stepped my left foot back, I want to make sure that I'm not arching into my lower back. So I'm going to work for length through the lower back and a little bit of pubic bone to navel. Okay? Keep that. Alright, then I'm going to think about internally rotating my left leg. So my heel turns out, my toes turn in. You'll have heard people say this cue in the past, shine your inner thighs to the sky. That's what that means. Okay, so inner thigh of the back leg is magnetizing towards the ceiling. Soft bend into your front knee. Okay, and then you're going to see if you can lift that back leg up off of the ground and lower. Notice that there's not a whole bunch of movement there. Okay, try not to compensate by tipping your torso forward. Okay? That's a different movement. So accept that this is maybe 5 to 10 centimeters of lifting, maybe not even that. Work for that hip extension and that hip internal rotation. Good. Yes, everybody, well done. Notice in your body if you really want to tip forward in the torso. Really manage that. Going for 8 if you can. Inner thigh of that back leg is magnetizing towards the sky. Internally rotate. 6. Good. 5. 4. 3. Right leg should be on fire. 2. And 1. Beautiful. Step the left foot parallel to the right. See if we can come straight on over into the other side. So we're going to reach right leg back. And you don't have to step it way too far back there. You can just be in a comfortable step. Lengthen into the lower back. Internally rotate that back leg. So I'm spiraling my thigh bone inwards. My heel is pointing out. My toes are pointing in. My inner thigh is magnetizing towards the sky. Lower back stays long. Left knee is slightly bent. And I'm going to try and lift. And lower. Every time I lift my leg, I have to remind myself to internally rotate. Because I will lose it every time. Every rep, before I lift, I'm internally rotating. Good, nice, Paula. Hold on to something if you need to because you want to keep your hips parallel and square with your mat. So I'm not opening my right hip. Yes. 6. Nice, guys. 5. Don't worry about height. 4. Internal rotation and lift. 3. Internal rotation and lift. 2. And last one. Beautiful. Bring that right foot to the floor. Shake it out. Shake it out. So good. Well, really well done. That's kind of a tough concept to learn, but it's the first movement that we lose in our hip joints, internal rotation. All right. Let's step to the back of our mat. We're going to keep the band where it is. Feet parallel, hip width distance. A little bit of weight bearing on the wrists for the last 5 minutes. So let's take a nod of the chin towards the chest and roll down. Rolling down. Take a moment here in your roll down to equalize your weight in your feet. Notice if you've got more weight in your right leg, more weight in your left leg, can you even it out? And then we're actually going to roll up again. Restep. Good, very nice. Take it down, nod the chin to the chest. Roll it down. Pause at the bottom again. We're not going to roll up from here. We're going to look forward. We're going to walk out into a plank position. Now we haven't warmed up the wrists, so if you feel like plank is way too much for your wrists right now, please feel free to lower the knees. Just going to breathe here. Press back through the heels. The space on your legs where the band is touching you, where the band is wrapped around your thighs, can you squeeze those muscles? Can you magnetize those muscles towards the bones of the legs? Push the floor away and find your three-dimensional inhales and exhales. Taking 3 more breaths here. Once we finish that third breath, we're going to walk the hands back. Alright, on your next exhale, start to walk your hands back towards your feet. And we're going to stay in a forward fold. In your forward fold, use the weight of your head to decompress the spine. So more length as I have forward. Last 2 breaths here. We're going to keep on moving, kind of forward folding and then planking. Slowly walk the hands out again. Plank it out. Nice. Great job. If you feel you can add a little bit of movement into the plank, squeeze the muscles of your legs and then see if you can bring your right knee towards your right elbow. So you're pulling into the resistance of the band and then take it back. Left knee to left elbow. Take it back. Good. 8 to go. Bring it in. Take it back. And 7. Take it back. And 6. Take it back. 5. Take it back. 4. Take it back. 3. Take it back. 2. Take it back. 1. Take it back. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Find your forward fold. Nice. Let the wrists take that break. Use the weight of your head to decompress the spine. Make no mistake, your legs are constantly working here. So if you feel like your legs are just like burning the whole time, that's okay. 1 more breath here and we're coming into that last plank. Okay? On your next exhale, see if you can walk yourself out 1 more time. 1 more time. Good. Hold in the position. Now squeeze into the muscles of the legs, the place where the band is touching your legs. Squeeze those muscles. The front, the sides, the backs. Find your inner thighs, squeeze them. Push the floor away. Beautiful. Now, if it's possible, see if you can take your left hand, tap your right shoulder, left hand comes back to the mat. Right hand, tap left shoulder, bring it back. Now see if you can do this movement, guys, with as little movement as possible in the lower body, keeping the space where the band is touching your legs super switched on. So charge up those legs in your plank. 6 to go. 5. Nice. 4. 3. 2. 1. Float the knees to the mat. Untuck the toes and sink it back to a very well-deserved shell. Just allowing the breath to really expand the space between your inner thighs. Taking 2 more breaths yet again. And just slowly walk your hands back towards your knees. And guys, the The only graceful way to get out of this situation with the band around your thighs is to yank. Okay, so you just got to take a free end, yank. Nice, Paula, you did it gracefully. And we're out. Guys, that is it. That is you done for the morning. So thank you so much for joining.